Hello there, YouTube. It's your boy B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. Today we are talking about Shazam and the 7 Magic Lands from 2018. Now, a while back I reviewed the Shazam origin graphic novel from the New 52 that was written by Jeff Johns. It was like a side story in Justice League, but it got its own trade. And I reviewed that a while back. I think that was back when Matty Matt, now going by Kami, was reviewing stuff with me. Good guy. You can still see him sometimes on the Tabletop Recap podcast. But, they kind of set something up in that with Mr. Mind, and then it just took way too long for them to actually pay off. And this is the final payoff. We were all waiting for this for so long, and I'm glad we eventually did get it. Let me read the back of the book for you real quick. The modern reimagining of the world's mightiest mortal continues. In his previous Shazam miniseries, legendary comics writer Jeff Johns from Doomsday Clock and Batman Earth 1, both of which I've read and will probably review eventually when I reread them, upended the world of Billy Batson, spreading the wizard's powers between Billy and his 5 foster siblings, which is the story that the Shazam movie was based off of. Now, in the long-awaited sequel, the newly formed Shazam family embarks on their first adventure as a super team. When Billy uncovers a secret deep within the Rock of Eternity, the children are sent on an extraordinary journey through a series of magical realms. But from the fun lands, the home of endless amusement, to the wild lands where animals live like humans, to the game lands, a high-stakes real-life arcade, these dreamlike fantasy worlds each hide nightmarish realities. The young heroes must face the land's tyrannical leaders as well as the all-new Deadly Monster Society, led by Mr. Mind, with art from Dale Eaglesham, Justice Society of America, Scott Collins, The Flash, and Mark Santucci, Swamp Thing. This book collects the entire epic of the 7 Magic Lands from Shazam, number 1 through 11, and 13 through 14. Very cool. I actually read this on Prime Reading, so it was included in my Amazon Prime membership. Like, fuck Jeff Bezos, honestly. But Kindle is dope. I'm sorry, Kindle's dope. Anyway, Shazam and the 7 Magic Lands. Kind of starts off, you see Billy talking to the wizard, and then they're all on a field trip. Well, not all of them. Billy and Freddy are on a field trip, and, Billy goes all Shazam when people try to rob the museum, and the rest of the Shazam family shows up. They fight. There's some fun dialogue that's also weird dialogue. They all go to the Rock of Eternity and discover that, since there's a new champion, there's access to all these new magic lands. But while they're off exploring these new magic lands, Billy Batson's biological father shows up at his foster parents' house. Oops, and his foster parents are kind of freaking out, and then they realize the kids are gone, and all this stuff's just going on. They hop on this magical train to go visit the magic lands. Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind are doing creep stuff, and they go to this one land that's just like a big ol' amusement park. And it's just all kids there. But then they find out that the kids that are all there are kids who have like run away from home or who had like abusive families, and they were kind of rescued and brought there where they could just have purely fun lives. But the leader of these lands, big spoilers from here on out, he hates adults, and honestly, who can blame him, right? I'm one, and I'm not even fond of them. But so whenever someone turns into an adult, they basically just kind of become a slave to keep the Funlands operating, which is pretty screwed up. And so he tries to do that with Mary Batson. And then when they all transform into their Shazam forms, he's like, "Oh, you were all adults in disguise," and you can see why he would think that. Then a couple of them get sent to the Game Lands, which is like basically a big old video game. And then there's the Wild Lands, where humans aren't allowed anymore, and it's all these kind of furry beast people. But we do get a proper tawny from there, because there was that Shazam tiger in the origin story, which was dope. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was super dope. But, having an actual, like, gentleman anthropomorphic tiger tawny, God, that's just so classic Shazam. Uh, and I'm very happy that we got him back. That makes me oh so happy. But yeah, So the couple of them that end up in the Wildlands are on trial, and then Black Adam shows up to the Rock of Eternity, and he's like, "Oh, Billy, you done fucked it up." But they're all, fighting their way through each of the magic lands using their various skills and whatnot to get them out of things. Dr. Zavanna shows up for a good old brawl, some magical fisticuffs with Black Adam. God, I love Black Adam. I'm glad that Black Adam is like a big thing now, because I've always been a huge fan. And now I'm very excited that that's a thing. Anyways, Billy is reunited with his father, and he's kind of torn between who his family is, and it's messing with his powers. Like, it's giving his dad powers sometimes, but when it does that, it takes powers away from his siblings, because he's like, he's trying to figure out what family means to him, which is nice, It's very interesting. Mary has to tell her foster parents that they're superheroes. Billy reveals it to his father, and he tries to make his father part of the team because there are 7 magic lands and there's supposed to be 7 members of the Shazam family, and they are missing one, And then there's like another place called the Darklands, which is basically just Halloween Town. I love that. I should review Halloween Town on the other channel. I should rewatch and review it. I haven't seen Halloween Town since I was a kid. I'm gonna do that. For sure I'm gonna do that. But then there's like kind of a dead man Shazam there, who's really cool looking. Very nice. But yeah, we get the Monster Society reborn with the 7 deadly sins, and Black Adam's there, and eventually, and this, like, I didn't expect this, and then when it happened, I was just so happy. So happy. Superboy-Prime returns. I'm a huge Superboy-Prime fan, too. I know a lot of people who are big Superboy-Prime fans, so whenever he shows up in anything, I freak. And then there's another Magic Land that's a fusion of Oz and Wonderland, which was pretty fun, admittedly. Kind of a darker land than you would think. But then, all these magical lands are like assaulting, I don't want to say our dimension, but our dimension. The monster lands gets opened up. There's a lot of cool monsters. The wizard shows up and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill Billy's dad and do all this crazy stuff." But then we find out eventually Billy's dad isn't Billy's dad. It's Mr. Mime driving his body around, getting Billy to willingly give him the power of Shazam. Which is wild. There's just so much going on. And they have to team up with Black Adam to stop Mr. Mind, Billy's dad Shazam, with all his really cool monsters. Such cool monsters. So it's Mr. Mind with the powers of Shazam, Dr. Savannah with his magic eye, the Wicked Witch of the West, Jeepers, and then King Hull, Mr. Merry-Go-Round, Evil Eye, the Crocodile Man, which was probably my favorite. It's like a crocodile in prison garb with this big ball and chain, but it's got 3 heads, this anthropomorphic crocodile, 3-headed prisoner monster. So cool. Mr. Adam, the Red Queen Scapegoat, who was also pretty cool. And, Black Adam's with him for a sec, but, he eventually teams up with the Shazam family. And we do get an actual reunion with Billy and his dad once Billy kind of tricks Mr. Mime into vacating his father. And, of course, a fight with Superboy-Prime, which, God, I love Superboy-Prime. I love him. He's just crazy. He's just absolutely insane. I love it. But yeah, we get Billy's actual reunion with his father, which is sad because his father doesn't really recognize him, but also it turns out his father just straight up didn't want anything to do with him, like at all. And then we kind of see a glimpse into the future where Black Adam actually is reformed and joins the Shazam family. Because ever since the New 52 reboot, Black Adam hasn't been all that bad. Like, he's done bad things. He's been an anti-villain, And then I think it was after Forever Evil, when he was brought back, he kind of became more of an anti-hero. He was leading his country, but depending on the continuity in the writer, sometimes it seems like he rules with an iron fist and his people aren't happy about it, and then sometimes his people really like him because he really does care for and defend them. It just depends on the writer and continuity, I feel like. I've seen both. And we also get this little story in the back about Mary Batson running away from home, from her abusive family. And the art is spectacular. It's real anime, real manga art. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And she only has a few cents to her name, this runaway, and she gives it uh, away to help the needy. And it shows what happens when she first joins the family and all kinds of crazy fun stuff. And then it shows her and her sister flying off to do some superheroing, and they kind of pass the power of Shazam onto a little rabbit because they consider it family. It's so cute. And there's a lot of great cover arts in the cover gallery in the back. I love when trades have the cover gallery in the back with all the variants and stuff. It just makes me really happy. Jeff Johns did good work on this book. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different villains, and just so many things are happening with so many different characters. You do definitely need to read the New 52 Origin to understand it 100%. You gotta. But honestly, it's really good, and I really enjoyed it. The art is spectacular. I feel like when I'm watching comic book reviews and stuff, a lot of people don't talk about the art as much as they do the story, which I get, because the story is the most important thing to me. But when it comes to comics, the art is half the battle. It really, truly is. It's got beautiful, bright colors. Um, it's a real hopeful book. There's darker moments in it, and it's real emotional, but it's also got its lighthearted, happy stuff, and there is a happy ending. And I feel like all my favorite comic books, for the most part, have happy endings. And when I go to DC, I'm normally going to DC for larger than life, more inspirational, happy characters like The Flash, Superman, and Shazam. You know? So that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. If you have Amazon Prime or Prime Reading, I'm not sure if it's on Kindle Unlimited, but you can just read this on Kindle if you have those services. Uh, and I definitely recommend it. Just make sure you read that New 52 Origin of Shazam, which I do believe was reprinted when the Shazam movie came out, so you should be able to get it very easily, especially if you read digital comics. I read digital and physical, but for the sake of cost and physical space, I am kind of transitioning fully into digital, it seems. I know you can't get everything digital, but yeah, I've mostly transitioned to digital just for the sake of ease, and it's also cheaper a lot of the time, and I have so much of my place taken up by just piles of books, comic and otherwise. But that's it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. There's lots of cool comic books and trading cards and action figures and stuff on sale on my eBay. We also have action figure reviews on this channel. And some other book reviews that aren't comics, but then we also have movie and TV reviews and stuff on a different channel. You can check out all those cool links in our link tree. So that's it. Thank you all once again. I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.